Now, it's important that we define leadership well, because depending how we define things determines how we act on them. If you think of relationships and love as just watching TV together and that's all you do and that's what your definition of love is, first of all, I'm sorry, it's not going to work out so well for you in your future relationships, because that's a poor definition. You can define things however you want, but the effectiveness won't be very good. And it's important with leadership because today there's a lot of confusion about what leadership is and what it means, and leadership versus management and all these things people don't really understand, and because they don't understand, it hurts a lot of people and their effectiveness as a leader. So it's important that we get it right. It's also important to understand that leadership isn't whatever you want it to be. I've heard people say, to me, leadership is, and they fill in the blank with something. Usually it's something like it's solving problems, it's making decisions, it's caring about your people, and often good things. There's things you should do as leaders, but they're not a definition of leadership. It's like me saying carpentry is measuring wood. Well, that's something you do when you do carpentry, but if that's all you do and that's how you define it, you're not going to be an effective carpenter. We need to make sure we define things well, because semantics are important. What is a good definition of leadership? Leadership is guiding people through influence to the accomplishment of a goal. That's it, pretty simple, but it's important that we understand what that definition is saying. First, it says you're guiding. You're not forcing or pushing people. You're, in a sense, leading them, guiding them towards somewhere. Second, it says people. And that's important too, because you actually have to have people to follow you to be a leader. Otherwise, you're just taking a nice walk or a hike. Third, it says influence. You have to influence people. People have to want to follow you. You're not forcing them. You're not using your position. You're not using your authority to make them. If you're using your position or authority to make people do something, you're not leading them. Fourth, it says toward the accomplishment of goal. Now, sometimes people will say leadership is about building relationships with people and making them the best they can be. And that's all good stuff, and you should do that. However, if you're not actually accomplishing anything, you're not really leading them either, because leading is taking them somewhere. It's great to build those relationships, and again, you should, but if you're not taking them somewhere, then you're not really leading either. So a great definition for you to use is that you're guiding people through influence to their accomplishment of a goal. It's also important that we understand the difference between a leader and a manager. And if you want to know what that difference is, make sure you watch this video here.